Have you ever wanted to borrow books from the library for free, but read them on your Kindle? Well, you can. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how. I'm going to be going over how you can use apps like Libby and Hoopla to access free digital media through your library to really enhance your reading experience and save money. So if you want to read more and spend less, just keep watching. Oh, and if you're new here, my name's Lottie and I post weekly bookish YouTube videos, everything from reading vlogs to Kindle tips and TBR videos. And I'd love to have you stick around and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Okay, bear with me because I got a lot of information to share with you guys and I did my best to organize it in a way that makes sense. Oh, also I wanted to mention, this is my experience as a US citizen. I'm not quite sure how this works in other countries, but this should work for my fellow US citizens. First things first, you guessed it, you need a library card. This is your one-stop shop and your all-access pass to getting free books. Most libraries offer online registration, so you can do it without even leaving your home. I just ran a quick Google search for get a library card and then put your city, your county, or your zip code, and you should hopefully find what you're looking for. It's quick, easy, and opens up a whole world of reading. Now, I have two library cards. I have one for here in Atlanta, which is my Fulton County library card, and then I also have one for where I grew up, which is my Northwest Georgia regional library card. Usually when you sign up, you need to show some sort of proof of residency. It could be your driver's license, your passport, or like a lease with your name on it. Things like that should work. All right, next up, we're going to be talking about the Libby app to start. So go ahead and download Libby. This is the most popular library app, and this is the one that you can connect with your Kindle. It's completely free to use. There's no in-app purchases, no subscriptions, no late fees, totally free. And Libby isn't necessarily available at every single library in the country, but it partners with, I think, over 90% of libraries in North America. So chances are your library probably has it. So go ahead and install that. Next up, you're going to open up the Libby app and follow the prompts to set up your account. You may need to search for your local library that you have a card with and also input your library card number. This step is what will actually give you the instant access to your library's digital collection. So you have to sync your Libby with your library card. Once you have your library card number synced up with your Libby account, you should be good to go. Now that you're logged into Libby, it can be a little bit overwhelming at first. I feel like the app is kind of intuitive, but also you kind of just have to play around with it to start understanding how to use it. So I thought we could just kind of walk through the different options you have. Libby's interface includes 5 main tabs at the bottom of the screen that you can toggle between. The first tab at the bottom of the screen on the left is the search tab. So you can click into here to search for specific ebook or audiobook titles from your library's collection. The second tab at the bottom is the library tab. This is kind of the home base for your local library. It kind of gives you a dashboard of what's new at your local library and what librarians are recommending, what's available now, things like that. The third tab here in the middle gives you a view of your library cards. It's a bit of like a profile section where you can see all of your library cards, manage them, and you can also see all of your settings with your Libby app and get help and support. The fourth tab at the bottom is your shelves tab. So this one will take you to view your shelves. You can see what books you have on loan, what books you have holds on, and your history of like what you've checked out and how long you've had it, all those good things. This is the tab I find myself in the most, just managing all of my different loans and holds. So loans are books that you have currently checked out from the library. Holds are all of the books that you are waiting in line to access. Timeline is just that detailed history of your activity in the app, and then notices will notify you when books become available or are due soon. Finally, the fifth tab all the way at the right of the bottom of the screen is the tags tab. Tags are essentially just a flexible way to organize different titles in Libby. You can create as many different tags as you want and tag titles from different libraries. Popular ways to use tags might be books that you want to use for a research project, or book club books, or audiobooks you want to listen to on your next road trip, things like that, just creating little collections. And also a tag is a little bit different from a smart tag. Here in this tags tab, you can see all of your normal tags and your smart tags. In Libby, a smart tag is a special kind of tag that can automatically keep track of different titles for you. So Libby automatically creates a borrowed smart tag for you. So this is just a list of all of the books that you've borrowed through Libby. And Libby also has a notify me smart tag, and you can use this to get notifications when your library adds copies of a book to Libby. So if there's an anticipated release that you're excited about, you can search it up a few months in advance on Libby, and if your library is already showing it or Libby is showing it, you can click notify me. That way Libby will send you a push notification once your library adds copies of that title to their library, and that way you can get on the holds list first so that hopefully you can access it before the line gets really long. Okay, now that we have a little bit of an orientation with the Libby app itself, let's go back to this main libraries tab and talk about managing multiple library cards through Libby. One of the best parts about Libby is that you can actually add and manage several library cards through the app. You can literally collect as many library cards as you want. So I have 2 free library cards that I'm signed up for in my local area, but if I wanted to, some libraries offer non-resident e-library cards available for either free or for an annual fee. So for example, a library in like New York or DC or LA. So if you don't live in an area with a lot of popular titles available through your library, this could be a good way and a more affordable way to access those titles rather than using something like Kindle Unlimited or paying for the ebooks through Kindle. I think usually the annual fees can be anywhere from like $30 to $50 per year, but given that Kindle Unlimited is like 10 or 12, I think, dollars a month, that's already way more affordable than Kindle Unlimited. So it could be a great option. It all kind of just depends on what you're reading and how often you're reading. But like I said, I have 2 library cards. So I have my Fulton County library card here in this tab, as well as my Northwest Georgia regional library card here. And with that library card also came this like Georgia download destination one. So it kind of was like one library card split into 2. One thing that's important to note about Libby and libraries through Libby is that every library is a little bit different. Depending on how big the library is and what their catalog looks like, wait times can vary a lot. Also, you can see here how I have 5 loans available through my Northwest Georgia library card, but I have 15 available through my Fulton County one. Technically, I have a total of 15 because I also have the 10 through the Georgia download destination, but they kind of split it up like that. And I know that some libraries only offer 5 or 10 holds at a time, but it's kind of a trade-off because oftentimes I can find really short lines for books through the Northwest Georgia library. So even though I only have 5 holds, a lot of times the waits for the books are only 2 or 4 or 6 weeks, whereas the waits for the books through the Fulton County library, which is the big Atlanta one, can take 20 weeks or 30 weeks or more. So it's just kind of a trade-off. And that can be a great reason to have multiple library cards too, so that you can have some that you can get right away and some that you can get on hold that are more special titles or popular titles. And that can be a reason to have multiple library cards too. You know, you kind of get the pros and cons of both when you have access to both libraries. A lot of people get frustrated that there are such long wait times with Libby because they think it's just like a PDF file, you know, like why can't you just send me the file? But in order for authors to be paid fairly for their work, libraries really have to treat the digital versions like physical copies. They have to pay for each individual digital copy that they lease out. And so it's just part of making sure that the process is fair and everyone is paid. I know it's kind of annoying, but I think it's important that authors are paid, so it's okay. One thing to keep in mind is that all of the different libraries kind of set their own system with how many holds you get to have, what ebooks and audiobooks are in their collection, and how long you get to check the book out for. I've noticed with my smaller library, they don't have as broad of a library of a collection. So if you ever want to read a title and you don't see it on there, you can always contact your library and let them know you'd like to read it and you'd love to see it on Libby. Let's look at how to actually check out a book and what that looks like. So let's go to the search icon here on the left, and I'm gonna search The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. Once you search for a book, you may see book covers that are squares, and those are gonna be the audiobooks. And then the book covers that are rectangles are gonna be your ebooks. So here, if you click this little icon on the right, I can see the wait times for this particular title across all of my library cards. And I can choose to place a hold on this book at the library with the shortest wait time, but it may be that I already have the max amount of holds I can have on that library card. So if that happens, you'll need to go back to your shelf tab, which is that 4th tab, and click into your holds, and then click into manage hold and cancel hold, and just cancel one that you want to swap it out for. And then you can go back to that search tab and actually place the hold once you create space, because you can only get on the wait list for so many at a time. Beyond just the wait time, you can actually also see how many copies your library has available and how many people are waiting. So to place the hold, you would just click in and then click on place hold. Great, now you've placed your hold, you're on the wait list for that book. Now you just sit back and wait until it becomes available. Make sure you turn your notifications on Libby so that you get a push notification when the book becomes available. You don't want to miss that. Once it becomes available, you'll see something like this that says the book is ready to borrow. Usually you should have about 3 days or 72 hours to claim your book once it's available. So be sure to go in there and borrow it before the offer lapses. In order to borrow the book, just click borrow, then your library will tell you how many days you're borrowing the book for, and then you just click borrow again to confirm. Once a loan is on your shelf, you can click read with Kindle. This will open a web page with Amazon where you can log in to your Amazon account and send the ebook to your Kindle. Then you you can read that ebook in your Kindle library on the Kindle app or on your Kindle itself. As you saw, your library gives you access to your ebook or your audiobook for a certain amount of days. One of my library cards gives me 14 days and the other one gives me 21, so 2 weeks and 3 weeks. I'm sure it varies across all different libraries, but there is a certain time frame that you are given to read the book in. But if you're really close to finishing the book and you just need an extra day or two, you can put your Kindle on airplane mode to prevent your library from taking the book back. So if you need an extra couple days to finish up the book, you can always do that. And then once you're done with your book, you would just hit return. You can also return the book early if you didn't need the full amount of time, which is a really nice thing to do because then it goes ahead and sends it to the next person in line. So sometimes I read the book in like 3 days and I don't need the full 3 weeks, so I always try to return it early if I can. And then your book will just go back to the library and you can repeat this process. Now let's talk about what to do when all of your Libby holds come in at once, because this will inevitably happen. I think everybody who uses Libby can attest that this has happened to me. It's very common for, when you first get your Libby account, you're gonna go place a bunch of holds and maybe some of your top books will all be like a 12-week wait. Then after, those 3 months are up, all of these books will start becoming available and it's a little overwhelming because you're like, I can't read all of this in this short amount of time, and they all just start popping up and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. So here's what you do when that happens. First, you're gonna pick the book that you're most excited by. If they all start coming up, like pick the one you wanna read first, go ahead and borrow that one and start reading it. Then what you do with these other books is we're gonna use a feature from Libby called Deliver Later. The Deliver Later feature basically allows you to kind of like let the person behind you in line skip ahead of you. So you don't have to go all the way to the back of the line. You're just kind of letting people go ahead. I don't really know how the Libby algorithm works, but you basically just kind of defer for a certain amount of days and they try to kind of estimate how many people they should let go ahead of you based on how many days you want to defer the delivery of the book by. If you just started reading a new book, it takes you about a week to read books, you could just delay 1 week. And then if you had another one, you could delay it 2 weeks and so on and so forth. So I try to kind of stagger out my Libby deliveries by using the Deliver Later feature. And then that way you should hopefully almost always have a book ready to go with Libby. And I think those are kind of the basics of Libby, guys. I don't really use the tags feature all that much, so I wasn't going to deep dive into that, but it is something you can kind of play with if you want. I basically am just always searching up different holds, readjusting what I have on hold, also just constantly checking and delivering later and staggering out my holds. So those are kind of the basics. I hope that answers a lot of your questions about Libby. Now let's talk quickly about Hoopla. Hoopla is another app that you can use to access free digital media through your library, but with Hoopla, you actually can't send really anything to your Kindle, so it's not as well known and well loved because you have to use it through your phone. But what I like to use Hoopla for the most is actually audiobooks. They have so many audiobooks on there, so let's take a closer look at Hoopla. I'll put a link to download Hoopla in the description as well, so go ahead and download that one, and then once you open it, you'll just link your Hoopla with your library card number once again, and just follow the prompts to get it all set up. Once you open Hoopla, this one is a little more straightforward, honestly. You've got 4 tabs at the bottom. You've got the home tab, and this is where you can just explore all different kinds of media that's available. You've got the My Profile tab. I honestly hardly ever go here. You've got the search tab and then the settings tab. The great thing about Hoopla is that it is a little bit different from Libby in that I don't really even know how the hold system works with Hoopla, because like I never really have to like place a hold on anything. Most things are just instantly available for me to access. So anytime I want to just hop on Hoopla and see if it's there for instant access, I can. And there are so many titles, especially audiobooks. So the instantly available ones, like you can, I think, borrow as many as you want. I don't know. I've never hit the limit on there, but I've never probably done more than like a couple audiobooks at a time because I can't listen to more than like 2 or 3 max probably at once. But honestly, the homepage on Hoopla is great. They do a good job at showing you like personalized recommendations, what's trending, things like that. So you can kind of just scroll through, and then I like to click on the heart button to favorite different titles that I'm interested in. And then that way, when I'm looking for a new audiobook, I can just come back and go to my profile and go to the ones that I had liked to get ideas of what I might want to read next. And the interface on Hoopla is really nice. I'm pretty sure it connects with Apple CarPlay, so it's just super easy, and it's a great thing to try out if you are an audiobook lover like myself. I also have like movies, comics, lots of things on here. So it's just a great app in general for literally free media. And it's just one I wanted to bring more awareness to. Okay, I think those are most of my big points I wanted to hit on with Libby and Hoopla today. I hope that this video was helpful. If you still have any questions about Libby or Hoopla, feel free to comment them down below and I'll try to get back to you. I know a lot of us are really wanting to support our local libraries given the political climate right now, and also save some money. you know, like it's a win-win for everyone. And so I just thought this video would be a fun one to have as a resource for anyone who wanted to know more about how to get library books on your Kindle. And I really hope it was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you've tried out Libby or Hoopla, or if you have any other pro tips you want to share. If this video helped you out, definitely give it a thumbs up down below and share it with a friend so that they can learn how to get library books on their Kindle too. If you missed my video about 10 hidden Kindle features that I always enable on my Kindle, definitely check out that video. I'll leave it in a card right here. And if you made it this far in the video, be sure to comment down below with the yellow heart emoji so I can know who made it to the end. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel down below if you're new here and you love watching bookish videos. And I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye everyone.